Oh boy, 2 laps to go at a short track in a NASCAR race. I can't wait to see how this one goes.
Another car capable of winning. So we'll just have to.
Logano.
Ran into the back of his teammate, which I didn't see anything that Denny Hamlin did wrong. Racing for the win.
Oh!
Thank you, pit crew. Absolutely.
Man, Martin's mad at everybody.
Oh, he just hates everyone, doesn't he?
Yep, that race just got super wacky and super crazy out of nowhere. First, happy Easter to all who celebrate. Got that Easter bunny chocolate there from my grandma. So, happy Easter, grandmother. Thanks for the chocolate bunny. Anyways, now to talk about the race itself. This race, I had a lot of thoughts on this race, and I had this whole thing planned out for how I was going to talk about this race. And then with a lap and a half to go, Truex was a lap and a half. He was half a lap away from the white flag, which would have made the race official. Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson made contact. Kyle Larson went spinning, and a caution came out. And, of course, Richmond with high tire wear. Everyone pits at the end of this race with 2 laps to go. They'd been on their tires 40, 50, 60, however many laps it had been. And everyone's on their fresh tires or goes to get their fresh tires. And Denny Hamlin, whose pit crew has been phenomenal this year, ends up having a 1.3 second quicker pit stop than Joey Logano, who was second on the track. Martin Truex Jr., who had led 228 laps tonight. I mean, this race completely flipped in the matter of seconds when Truex was half a lap away, 13, 14 seconds away from the white flag. And it completely changed the complex of this race. Denny Hamlin was chasing down Martin Truex Jr. and Joey Logano late in this race. He had about 10 lap fresher tires, which at Richmond is a lot of fresh tire. And ultimately, he kind of stalled out in third, but Logano was closing in on Truex. But by 3 to go, 4 to go, Logano had stalled out at 0.7 of a second, and it looked like it was going to be Martin Truex Jr.'s night. And then, as I said, Kyle Larson and Bubba Wallace made some contact. Larson, the tires are wearing out. Larson gets a little loose. Bubba Wallace anticipated Larson just, running his normal line, running normally, and he didn't see Larson really kind of get loose, and Bubba Wallace ultimately made contact with him. Larson went spinning. Didn't save the spin, but he did enough to keep himself in like 6th or 7th place, and he had a great pit stop and was able to restart in the second row somehow. By the way, after the race, Bubba Wallace did go and apologize to Kyle Larson for the incident before people start freaking out on Bubba Wallace like they do. Anyways, then the final restart comes, and just chaos. No, it wasn't a wreck fest. No, it wasn't a crash fest. We didn't see the top 4 wipe each other out. We didn't see a 20-car pileup. But Martin Truex Jr., who is one of the highest respected drivers in NASCAR, modern-day NASCAR, a clean race car driver who would never bump and run anyone, who would never run anyone up the racetrack, who would never pinch anyone into the wall. This is the lowest. This is the dirtiest I have ever seen Martin Truex Jr. I saw him mad after that 2018 Martinsville race, and, it was understandable. He had raced Logano clean for all those laps just to get, shoved out of the way on the last lap. But this was a different level. Martin Truex Jr., he had led 228 laps. All of a sudden, he's in second place on a restart. All of a sudden, he's battling for third on the last lap of the race, and he's not going to win. I understand why he's frustrated, but this is not the way to respond. Martin Truex Jr., firstly, trying to pinch Denny Hamlin down into turn 1. That's not necessarily dirty. That's clean. That's racing. That's fine. And, it goes normal through 1 and 2. Hamlin just runs the racing line and Truex has to lift and, it's whatever. It's cool. And then down the backstretch, Kyle Larson gets side by side with Truex. Larson doesn't run Truex up the wall. He doesn't really do anything wrong. He just races him clean. And Truex just opts to turn a hard left into Larson's door. Larson doesn't appreciate it, as, was expected by someone who just got doored for literally no reason. And Larson just runs him up the track, runs him into the wall in turn 4. They wreck across the line, kind of wreck, more like a bump into the wall. Truex then once again shows his displeasure for Larson and just keeps door slamming him. And Larson says, okay, buddy, screw you. Hard right, puts them both in the wall. And yeah, so that was that. And it got stupid. My first thought was, what is Truex's problem? Then I was like, maybe someone told him the 5 caused that caution that cost him the race and he's retaliating for it. But even then, that's still extremely stupid. And then it's the cool down lap. Larson and Truex had separated themselves. I was like, I don't think it'll be a post-race fight. Larson's not the guy who goes and fights people. And Truex hasn't really been any fights, but he's gotten mad at people. Maybe he'll say something spicy after the race. And then we get to 3 and 4. And Truex he doesn't go and give his teammate Denny Hamlin a victory bump like, hey, good job, buddy. Just a slight tap on the bumper. No, he goes in and he just starts smacking the crap out of the back of Denny Hamlin's car. And I was like, that is the most aggressive victory bump I've ever seen. I guess he's really happy for Denny that he won in his home track. No, not really. It was more of a you suck bump. No other way to put it. Martin Truex Jr. specified after the race he was mad that Hamlin allegedly jumped the restart, the final restart. Hamlin was the control car on the inside line. He had every opportunity or every right to be the leader into turn 1. He had every right to jump. But remember, there's that restart zone. You are in a box and you can only launch in that box. And as the NFL officials say, upon further review, Denny Hamlin might have jumped the final restart just a little tiny bit. NASCAR did not review it. NASCAR did not really, look to overturn it. And so Denny Hamlin is indeed your winner. But Truex was mad that he jumped the start, and then he claimed that he ran him up the track in 1 and 2. And once again, I didn't think it was anything egregious, anything bad. I don't get why Martin's pissed at that part. I get that he had a rough night. The win got taken away from him in a sense. But no, look, a lot of people will go out of their ways to find something that Denny Hamlin did wrong. But in this case scenario, Denny Hamlin in turns 1 and 2, he didn't really do anything wrong. Now, jumping the restart, that's a little bit illegal. But turns 1 and 2, he was good. He was fine. He was cool. But as for the restart, yes, I think Hamlin did jump the restart a little bit. Ultimately, you can't overturn the race results after the race in terms of the restart unless they've been actively reviewing it ever since the restart happened. So, Denny Hamlin is your winner. I just realized the church shirt I wore today is the same color as the sponsor. I'm not a Denny Hamlin fan, but in conclusion, Martin Truex Jr., this was his hat today. But yes, Denny Hamlin is your winner. It's win number 2 on the year for the driver of the number 11. And yes, he did not dominate this race. He did not lead the most laps. He did not even win a stage, but he put himself in position. He ran top 10, top 5, really, most of the day. Truex and Larson dominated this thing. Hamlin, once again, top 5, top 10. He put himself in position. His pit crew did their job. This is why they say NASCAR is a team sport, because look at what Denny Hamlin's pit crew did. That team has been fantastic this year, and they have once again shown it. And once again, it was a Truex-Hamlin battle for the win, and Hamlin got the best of Truex. Now, it's debatable on that final restart on how it went down, but ultimately, Hamlin got the checkered flag. He gets the victory. He gets some more playoff points, his second win of 2024. He becomes the second repeat winner of the year. Second place, Joey Logano, a much needed run for Joey Logano. Ran top 5 this entire night. He was competing for the win there at the end, chasing down Truex, and then on that final restart had a shot-ish at the win. Didn't lead any laps, didn't win a stage, but collected a lot of stage points tonight, and he finished second. By far his best race of the year. They had a massive championship hangover last year. They won't deny it, okay? They had 1 year, which was at the beginning of the year at Atlanta. and then they got eliminated in the round of 16. That was their season. Nothing else significant happened. This year has been a terrible start. Entering tonight, Joey Logano was 22nd in points, had no top fives. He might have had one top 10. I mean, I'm honestly questioning if he had one. It's been a terrible start to the year for him. He's got a couple poles, but other than that, it's been a terrible start to the year. So to finally get a top five, and not only that, to be in the top three, competing for a win, chasing down someone for the win, that's got to be a great confidence boost for Joey Logano. It's a track that he's had a lot of success at, but still, just to have the result, to have the speed is huge for Joey Logano. Third place, Kyle Larson, spun out late in this thing. I don't know how he got to retain his position. I think it's because it was so spaced out that he basically came back in line 6th or 7th after the spin, but great pit stop by the number 5 crew, and he restarted 3rd, 4th, 5th, somewhere there. Got up to 3rd. He won a stage, so he got a playoff point, led 144 laps. Good day for him. The spin was probably the low point, but he rallied past. He rallied through the adversity. Was that even adversity? To finish 3rd. So, great day for Larson. 4th place, Martin Truex Jr. I love Martin Truex Jr. He's a clean driver. He seems like a cool guy. He's a Cup champion. He's a future Hall of Famer. He has done so much right in his career. He doesn't wrong a lot of drivers. He doesn't, as I said earlier, he doesn't run people up the track. He doesn't bump and run. He doesn't spin people out, on purpose. Tonight was a low point. Ironically enough, this might be a race to forget. It was still a top 5 finish. He still got a stage point or a playoff point with the stage win. He led 228 laps. A great night. He fell short of the win. Once again, dominating performance. Great day for Martin Truex Jr. But you can't have those moments, man. I understand why you're frustrated. What happened at the end there, coming so close to the win after dominating, but you just can't do that. 5th place, Chase Elliott, his first top 5 of the year, was top 10 most of this race, and just took advantage of that last restart. He was running 7th, I think, prior to the caution, and gained a couple positions on pit road. Took advantage of some of the chaos that happened in front. Ends up finishing 5th. 6th place, Christopher Bell. Good day for him. Good solid points day for him. 7th place, William Byron. A quiet day for William Byron. Ran in the back half of the top 10 for the second half of this race. And that's where he finished. 7th. 8th place, Brad Keselowski. 9th place, Chris Buescher. Good day for the RFK boys. This is a track that suits them quite well, as Buescher was the most recent winner prior to today. 10th place, Tyler Reddick. Good day for him. 11th place, Josh Berry was running up in the top 2 at some point in this race. A great short track racer. We're not shocked at that. We saw him go and take the lead at Bristol a few weeks ago. But another good result at the short track. 12th place, Noah Gragson, Berry's teammate. 13th, Bubba Wallace. Man, that caution screwed him the most. He was running top 5 for a good chunk of this race. And if he wasn't, he was 6th. And that's ultimately what happened. That late caution comes out. I'm going to say it again. It's not the first time I've said it. It's not going to be the last time. The 2311 pit crew made a mistake on the final pit stop. The money stop. They dropped the coins everywhere. Bubba Wallace, a terrible last pit stop. Had to back it up, get it back in the pit stall to tighten a lug nut or something. He comes out of the pits 15th or 16th. He ends up getting 13th. This should have been a top 5 at best. He should have finished 4th to 6th. There's no question about it. Bubba Wallace had a fantastic car. He drove up, had a fantastic battle with Kyle Larson for the lead early in this race, running side by side. And then he finished 13th because of a bad pit stop late in this race. I feel bad for him. He should have had a top 6. It was a great day for him, but the pit crew, as I said earlier with Hamlin, it's a team sport. And unfortunately, we saw the bad side of that for Bubba Wallace tonight. 14th, Eric Jones. 15th, Ross Chastain. 16th, Ty Gibbs. 17th, Alex Bowman. So this race got funky. We'll talk about the rain later on. But this race got funky because we saw, after the rain and all that, we saw the normal Richmond next-gen era kind of pit strategy where we'll see guys split stages into 2-stop or 1-stop race within the stage. And Bowman was on this alternate strategy. I can't remember if he was on the 2-stop or 1-stop. but he was ultimately catching back up to the leaders. So the leaders were on 20 lap older tires than him, and he was third or fourth out of those guys, and Larson had got his lap back. Wallace had got his lap back. Some of these guys who were really fast, Bowman was almost there. Like, he was really close to getting his lap back, and a stupid caution came out. Kyle Busch washed up the racetrack and just tapped the wall a little bit. And then he got back up to speed, no problem. But NASCAR saw someone up the track, realized this race could use a caution when it did not need a caution, by the way, because the strategy was very intriguing. And NASCAR said, caution. He's not in the groove. He has gone a little bit up the track. He kissed the wall. That is a caution. And it ruined Bowman's race. Bowman was running top 10, even top 5 at times early in this race. That caution screwed him. Bowman tried to get his lap back. Ultimately couldn't, had to take the lucky dog or the wave around or something like that. And it was a tough result for Bowman. He really should have finished in the top 10, maybe even the top 5. He's had a good start to the year. Runner-up in the Daytona 500, a top 5 at Bristol, a top 5 at COTA. He could have had another today, but unfortunately a bad caution happens for him. 18th, Chase Briscoe. 19th, Ryan Blaney. 20th, Kyle Busch. 21st, Todd Gilliland. Great qualifying effort by Todd. He was 6th. He was up to third by the end of lap 1. He ran there for a couple of laps. 22nd, Daniel Suarez. Austin Cindric, 23rd. Austin Dillon, 24th. 25th, John Hunter Nemechek. 26th, Michael McDowell. 27th, Carson Hocevar. 28th, Ryan Preece. 29th, Ty Dillon in his colleague debut, I think. 30th, Daniel Hemrick. 31st, Kaz Gralla. 32nd, Justin Haley. 33rd, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 34th, Harrison Burton. 35th, Zane Smith. 36th, Corey LaJoie. It was a rough day for Corey LaJoie. I don't think he ran in the top 30. Anyways, let's talk about this race, okay? Because we've talked about the chaotic finish. We've gone through the finishing results. I would have liked to talk about this earlier in the video, but ultimately my brain just goes different places. I love that we have rain tires for ovals now. It makes the race extra intriguing. It makes it extra fun. Those first 30 laps, there were passes throughout the field. Chase Elliott rocketing to the lead on lap 1. Kyle Larson getting back by him on lap 5 or 6 or something. Bubba Wallace going from 8th or 9th up to 2nd. We saw guys like Kyle Busch falling off really hard, falling 10, 12 positions back. We saw other guys making up huge numbers of spots early in this race, and it was extremely fun to watch because the rain tires, when the track is damp, you can do so much more because everyone's running slower, and you can find these different areas of the track that just work well when they don't work in the dry. Now look, I know we are in the very early days of NASCAR having rain tires on an oval. It's only the second time they've done it in NASCAR history, the first time being last year at North Wilkesboro in the All-Star race. It's a points-paying event. We can't have this turning into a tire crap fest where everyone's wrecking, everyone's blowing tires. It's a bad look on NASCAR, it's a bad look on Goodyear. So I get why they are being careful in the early days of this. They're going to throw cautions, competition cautions. They're going to mandate which tires you can run. They're going to tell you, all right, the track's dry enough, you have to run the sticker tires. Or, hey, the track's still damp, you have to run the wet tires. And I get why they're doing that. But this race would have been so much more fun if they just said, all right, teams, here's the thing. We're going to give you a lot of data. We're going to give you all this. We're going to give you a certain amount of sets, but you're going to have to figure it out yourself. If you think these tires are 23 laps on them, if you think it's going to be dry after 23 laps, come down pit road 23 laps. Oh, some other teams think it's going to be 26 laps? All right, then you wait 26 laps. We get these altering strategies. We get all these different guys on pit road, and then we have a reshuffled order, and we get to see some of those guys who were really good early on potentially be 13th, 14th, 15th, and have to make their way back up through the field. And then the next issue I have, and once again, it's the early days, so I don't want to complain too much because truly, the fact that we have a rain tire for an oval now is incredible. I applaud NASCAR. I applaud Goodyear for it. They are both great innovations in NASCAR, and I love it so much because otherwise we would have been up till midnight watching this race, waiting for the track to dry out completely. But that is my ultimate first issue, and it's something that we are learning, so it's not even an issue right now. If we have 10 races on the wet tires on the ovals and we're still doing this 10 races from now, then I will have an issue. But as for now, we're learning, so I'll put that to side. It's just a point I wanted to bring up. Now, a real issue I have is burning laps. When they are trying to dry pit road because pit road is not dry enough to go make active competitive pit stops, how about we don't run 10, 15 caution laps waiting for them to dry off pit road? That's wasting laps. It's wasting time. Let's just park them on the backstretch, put out a red flag, okay? No one will complain. Everyone at the track gets to see the amount of laps they wanted to see in this race go green. They don't have to watch these laps be burned, be killed under yellow because you want to dry the pit lane a bit. So ultimately, I hope we do get to the point that NASCAR and the teams can reach an agreement, can finally figure out this happy medium, or not even a happy medium. I just hope we can get to the point that NASCAR and the teams can say, we're big boys and girls. We have the data. We have the tires. We know what we're doing. We are professionals. We have high technology. We have some of the best race car drivers in the world. And we can figure out when we need to put the actual sticker tires on. We can figure out when we need to put the wet tires back on the race car. We can figure this out ourselves. We can run bold strategies. We can try something different. And then we can finally have a crazy race, hopefully without wrecks, but ultimately wrecks happen. But I just wish we had a little bit less control from NASCAR in that situation. But yeah, this Richmond race, the Kyle Busch caution ultimately killed the strategy aspect. Denny Hamlin and Chris Gabehart tried to spice it up there at the end. And the late race restart, it got a little weird. Truex got a little pissy and, it was whatever. But the first part of this race with the rain tires and all the passing going on, it was genuinely fun. I loved it. And then we had the strategy aspect. I love the strategy aspect in any track, but especially Richmond, because that's what Richmond is now. It's a short track strategy race. That's what it is. It's not Martinsville where you're beating and banging and, you're shoving people out of the way. It's not really Bristol where you're conserving tires. But it's its own thing. It's a split strategy thing, and you are always intrigued to what's going to happen. And NASCAR throwing that caution just killed the strategy. It killed the strategy, which was frustrating. And I wish they didn't throw that caution. And after that, it really was a meh kind of race. Not a lot happened. Truex dominated. Larson beat him out of the pits, but then Truex got it back by him immediately. And here we are. So thanks for watching this video. Meh race. Got a little freaky at the end. A little freaky. But meh. The rain tires were super fun. That's where we're going to end on a positive. The rain tires were so fun. I loved it. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Next race at Martinsville. It should be a fun one. Any other news that comes up this week, I will let you guys know. And as for that, have a happy Easter, and I will see you guys later on.